It's easy to overlook how deeply our friendships shape our happiness. Yet, if you were to measure the real power of having close, supportive friends, you might be astonished. Some experts even warn that feeling isolated or lonely can affect your well being as seriously as never exercising or neglecting a balanced diet. But why do so many of us feel like we're lacking true, meaningful connections, even when surrounded by people online and in real life? In the next few minutes, we'll expose surprising reasons behind modern isolation, uncover controversies around social media, and reveal how you can form lasting bonds in a time where genuine friendships often feel harder to find. 20 years ago, many people spent more time outside their homes, gathering with neighbors, attending community events, and stopping by local spots just to say hi. Nowadays, research shows a growing number of individuals prefer to stay at home, scroll through social media, and watch streaming services alone. This shift has been most dramatic among younger generations. Recent surveys suggest that a larger portion of teens and young adults report feeling lonely compared to older adults, a situation that would have shocked experts several decades ago. Some blame the fast pace of modern life. We spend countless hours commuting, working side hustles, or juggling classes and internships. The constant pressure to achieve leaves little energy for face-to-face connections. Even in schools or colleges where it once felt natural to strike up conversations, people now retreat behind smartphones during every spare moment. While there's nothing inherently wrong with digital entertainment, the real problem arises when virtual interactions replace actual human contact. Over time, this can foster an illusion of closeness with minimal genuine support. The sad twist here? Many assume being busy or online means they're connected, when in reality, superficial interactions can leave them feeling more isolated than ever. Have you ever felt like everyone else has more friends than you do? You're not alone. Social scientists discuss something called the friendship paradox, which says that on average, most people have fewer friends than their friends do. At first glance, this sounds like a twisted math puzzle, but it has a straightforward explanation. If someone is popular and has a vast circle, there's a higher chance that you, and many others, will be part of that person's friend group. Meanwhile, people with fewer connections slip under the radar. When you see photos of these hubs at parties and gatherings, it's easy to assume that your own social life is lacking. This feeling can spiral into insecurity, especially if you spend hours on social media watching highlight reels of your friends' adventures. You might start wondering, what am I missing? Or why am I always left out? The paradox can make you believe you're somehow falling behind socially. But the truth is, someone who appears super popular online might be dealing with the same struggles and worries you have in real life. Their large social circles can mean many shallow connections rather than a few deeply meaningful ones. If you've ever compared yourself to those bright, smiling group photos and felt a pang of envy, remember that each snapshot only captures a single curated moment. The real story is usually far more complicated. Few tools have transformed human interaction as much as social media. Platforms promised us a wonderful world of instant connections, bridging long distances at the tap of a screen. But a growing number of experts caution that these services might be fueling loneliness. Some rumors suggest that social media companies design their algorithms to keep you hooked, showing you just enough engagement, likes, reactions, and quick comments to make you stay glued to your feed. One popular speculation is that your social feeds favor short, superficial interactions. Instead of deep and meaningful conversations, you scroll through memes, viral dance clips, and curated vacation photos. This can create a false sense of closeness. Sure, you might see your cousin's latest beach selfie or an acquaintance's adorable dog pictures, but how often do you engage in genuine, heart-to-heart discussions? In some cases, social media can even become a stage for toxic comparisons. Have you ever posted something that you thought was important, only to receive fewer likes than you expected? It's a tiny blow, but it adds up. Over time, these small disappointments might discourage you from reaching out. Meanwhile, you see other people's highlight reels, and it's easy to assume they're living a more glamorous life, filled with nonstop social gatherings. Before you know it, you might feel like giving up on forming deeper friendships altogether because everyone else appears so busy and fulfilled. We seldom talk about the consequences of letting friendships fade until it's too late. People drift apart for countless reasons: moving to a new city, focusing on a career, or just feeling too tired to make plans. But ignoring your social bonds can have unsettling effects. Studies show that lacking close personal relationships may correlate with higher stress levels, trouble sleeping, and even certain physical health risks. Over time, you could notice that you're more irritable, more anxious, or more prone to negative thoughts. Some individuals end up with deeper emotional struggles. In extreme cases, it can become severe enough that they consider hurting themselves or pulling away from society entirely. Indirectly, failing to invest in friendships can drive someone down a lonely path where they feel no one truly cares. It doesn't help that as we get older, time itself feels more scarce. We juggle family obligations, job deadlines, and never ending errands. By the time we're done with the day, even answering a simple text might seem exhausting. But these quiet moments of inaction can chip away at bonds that once felt unbreakable. Before long, you might look at your phone, run through your contacts, and realize there's hardly anyone you feel comfortable calling for support. Perhaps the most shocking part is that our drifting apart isn't usually because of betrayal or big fights. It's simply a product of neglect. A few missed calls turn into months of silence, and what was once a valued friend is now just a faint memory. Now, the picture isn't all doom and gloom. Real connections can form more quickly than you might expect. Studies show that in just a few weeks of regular interaction, like meeting for coffee or sharing a hobby, a casual acquaintance can start feeling like a true friend. The trick is consistency. People become closer when they experience each other's day-to-day routines. So, where do you start? First, identify activities that genuinely excite you or at least make you feel comfortable. You might be the kind of person who loves board games, or perhaps you enjoy hiking in nature or joining a local sports club. If you're more introverted, try a small book club or a cozy cafe meetup that isn't too loud or crowded. The key is to pick places that naturally draw others with similar interests. Once you find an event or a group you like, show up regularly. Consistency matters because it lets people get used to you. It also allows you to see familiar faces over time and move beyond small talk. If you keep bumping into the same individuals, discussing your shared interests, laughing over silly mistakes, you'll gradually break down those initial social barriers. Another overlooked strategy is reigniting old connections. You'd be surprised how many people would happily respond to a short, friendly message from an old friend or distant acquaintance. A simple text saying, "Hey, I was thinking about you. How have you been?" can lead to a heartwarming reconnection. Research suggests that many of us underestimate how positively others view our spontaneous outreach. The biggest hurdle to making new friends often isn't finding people, it's overcoming the fear that you'll be rejected. No one likes feeling unwanted, so we avoid inviting someone to hang out or having a deeper conversation. Yet, interestingly, most people are much more open to invitations than we assume. We get so caught up in our own worries. They might say no, or what if they think I'm weird? That we forget others feel the same anxiety. This is where a small dash of courage goes a long way. If you've chatted a few times with someone in a club or at work, don't be afraid to say, "Hey, we should grab coffee sometime." That simple invitation can break the ice, signaling you're genuinely interested in getting to know them. Of course, there's always a risk that the other person might be busy, uninterested, or simply forgetful, but the chance of forming a real friendship is worth pushing through that momentary unease. Furthermore, honest conversation isn't just about surface level questions like, "What do you do?" or "Where are you from?" While those openers are fine, deeper connections come when we share personal stories and vulnerabilities at a comfortable pace. It might feel risky, but mutual trust develops when both sides reveal little glimpses of who they really are. Even if you manage to make new friends, holding on to them is another challenge. Time is a powerful force that either strengthens or erodes your relationships, depending on where you direct your energy. Consider how kids make best friends by simply seeing each other every day at school. They play together, share snacks, and complain about homework. Adults rarely get that built-in daily familiarity. That means you have to be intentional about checking in. If your friend mentions a big exam coming up or an important job interview, send a supportive message. If they're celebrating something special, show you care by congratulating them in person or suggesting a meetup to toast their accomplishment. These small gestures might seem obvious, but they're the secret glue holding friendships together. The real art of keeping friends lies in the delicate balance between staying connected and respecting boundaries. Everyone has busy periods. Someone might be flooded with work deadlines or taking care of family. By showing flexibility, rescheduling a meetup, or understanding when they need space, you demonstrate genuine respect for their life circumstances. Over time, you build a sense of trust and reliability. You're not just acquaintances who occasionally cross paths, you're real friends who can count on each other through life's ups and downs. And the best news? Consistent effort usually pays off. Studies confirm that people with supportive social circles report higher happiness levels, reduced stress, and even improved physical health. After exploring the reality of modern isolation, the friendship paradox, and the controversies surrounding social media, it's clear that forging meaningful connections is more complicated than many of us imagine. Yet this complexity also brings hope. Humans are wired to seek companionship, to laugh and bond and find people who truly get us. Even if it feels like you've wasted years in lonely routines, it's never too late to turn things around. A few bold choices, like taking initiative in an existing relationship or reaching out to an old classmate, can spark major shifts in your social circle. And while the fear of rejection is real, it's a fear everyone shares, including the very people you want to befriend. Maybe you've been convinced that you're just not good at making friends, or you've assumed that everyone else already has their social life figured out. But that assumption is often wrong. The truth is that millions of people, regardless of age or background, are open to deeper connections. All it takes is for someone to go first, to break the ice, and to show genuine care. So, as this video comes to an end, pause and think, who could you reach out to today? Which activity in your town or city have you always been curious about but never tried? There's nothing to lose from experimenting, exploring, and letting new connections surprise you. Chances are you'll discover that those potential friendships were closer than you thought. We hope this journey into the hidden sides of friendship stirs you to action. Some of the biggest joys in life are found in the simplest interactions, like hearing a friend's warm laugh or sharing an inside joke that no one else understands. Moments like these are worth every ounce of time and effort you invest, because in the end, they're what makes life truly fulfilling. Thank you for watching. Now is the perfect moment to grab your phone, send out that message you've been hesitating to write, or dare to make weekend plans with someone new. Your future best friend might be waiting for exactly that invitation.